Fantastic to meet you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's great to meet you. I love your story as a cancer survivor and a veteran in the business world. So I'm looking forward to delving into it. I'm coming from Kansas City, Missouri, in the middle of America. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah, that's
How
my
is it there at the moment?
what's that?
How is it there at the moment?
Oh, it's good. It's weird. We've had a pretty mild winter. The baseball players could probably still be playing technically, so it's all good, you know.
Is that your
So
sport? Baseball?
I love baseball. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Did
yeah.
you play it?
I warmed the bench for everybody.
Okay.
So,
I did play it as a kid. That was my number one sport. So
okay. All right.
um,
So,
I
yeah.
played it pretty high level, pretty well, but never made it.
Yeah, I was short in high school, so I never really got a good crack at it. And once I grew, I didn't, yeah, none of it really matched up. But
Second
uh,
baseman.
yeah. But I love watching it from afar. It's good. So,
And
um,
who's your team?
well, it's the Royals,
Okay. I thought it
which
would be an obvious question, but I want to make sure before
you
I.
never know. I mean, people in St. Louis Cardinals is a big deal. So if you're in Missouri, I know a lot of Cardinal fans. So you just never know. But I was a big Mets fan. So when they won it in '86, my dad was from Long Island. So I
Okay.
kind of had two teams I went between. So it was all good for sure.
Good, good,
So
good.
what about you? Do you have a team that you like the most?
Yeah, I was a White Sox fan.
Okay.
Not big. I'd watch any team because I was born in Australia, so I wasn't passionate.
Yeah.
But I liked the White Sox at the time. They had Bo Jackson, they had the Big Hurt. They kind of that was the thing when I was a teenager that was good to watch. But yeah, I was open to any team. Still keep an eye on it, but not passionately.
Yeah, Bo Jackson started in Kansas City, so I remember we used to go out and see him play, and that was a spectacle. That was
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
So,
yeah. He's a good player.
but at any rate, it's great to meet you, and I want to begin our conversation with surviving the pandemic. How did you get through that time period, and how did it change you?
Yeah, definitely. I just found out probably 6 months before that I've been diagnosed with bone cancer. So I was already starting to um, find out some things about myself and what I really wanted from life. And COVID was actually a fantastic thing because I'd run a business for 17 years, loved it, and worked with some great customers. But I really wanted a shift. I wanted to coach people. I wanted to work with people, but I didn't really know what that would look like. So it kind of forced my hand, which made me go, right, I'm going to teach people how to market their online businesses. And because of COVID, there was an explosion of people teaching online. And then I was able to take some of those people and grow some really successful multiple 6 and 7 figure coaching businesses along with my own at the time. And it was fantastic. They were impacting some amazing people. However, I still had this, it's great. And I'm coaching people and it's wonderful, but I really want to do something for myself that helps people transform. So I was studying and learning that from a couple of mentors at the time. And naturally, then I drifted into some of the coaching I was doing with these business or these online coaches. And they were like, Leigh, you've got to do this. This is your thing. This is your mission now, what you want. So it actually was a great period for me and my family, as in we spent a lot of time together. We
Yeah.
supported each other. I was very fortunate because I had three boys. One was actually a bit older, but two boys that were teenagers. So they were able to communicate with their friends online. And I know from having a niece, it was a bit harder for girls. So I do look back at it and say we were very fortunate. I know it wasn't great for everybody, but I made the best out of the opportunity that we could. So yeah,
Yeah.
we did okay.
Good deal. So let's get to the essence of what you do for a living. And I like to kind of boil this down by doing this. If I put you in front of a bunch of grade school kids, let's say third graders, and it's career day, and one of them asks you, what do you do for a living? How do you answer
Yeah.
them?
Well, my primary role is to help business owners who are stuck and they're struggling and they want to get to that next level. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean they're stuck getting a business off the ground. Some of the guys I'm helping have very successful businesses, but their businesses just consume them. So to a third grader, I'd say, look, I help business owners who really want to change and transform their life. They want to grow their business, but they also want to feel fulfilled in their relationships and their health.
Yeah. So what did you want to be in the third grade? What was your dream?
I always wanted to run a business. My father was a business owner, so I knew I wanted to do something. I didn't know what that would look like, but I always had this burning desire that by 30 I'd have a business. And
Okay.
actually, I hit that goal by 27. So when I did sign that piece of paper and register my first business, I felt like I'd beaten the goal that I'd set, which was fantastic.
So you're originally from Australia. Talk to me a little bit about more of these specific seeds that grew into you coaching. I mean, you have the business side, but you're helping others. How did that happen?
Yeah, I believe as a child, I'd always had this um, empathetic and compassionate side to me that was always helping others. I remember in primary school helping a couple of foreign kids that had come to our school that couldn't speak English. And I believe that was where probably the first seed started. And then as time progressed and we went to high school, I seemed to be that person, the friends came to. They looked for me for inspiration because I was pretty fearless and would dive into anything, but they always seemed to come to me for, I wouldn't say advice, but maybe guidance sometimes and say, hey, I've got this challenge. What do you think? And rather than solve it for them, I'd often, without consciously knowing, help them through it. So, I grew my friendship base pretty big and pretty well just because of being that way, I guess.
So what did you learn through the cancer, through going through it? What kind of revelations did you have?
Yeah, big ones for me, big. So I believe it was a gift at the time. Even when I got given the diagnosis, straight away my mind, for some reason, was like, okay, there's more to this. What is it? And that set me off on a path of discovery where I got my first mentor. And he was like, Leigh, this circumstance is created by the way you think. Everything begins with a thought. So your thoughts create your feelings create your actions, and your actions create the result. And I was like, yeah, I was holding on to stuff. And the diagnosis was bone cancer. Well, for 17 years, I've been holding on to stuff in my bones effectively. So for me, it was this stuff could be woo-hooey, but do you know what? I'm right at a point in my life where I've got to look into this and see what it's about. And it was one of the most magical journeys to go on because within 6 months, I'd overcome the bone cancer. My doctors couldn't believe it. Then people around me started referring people they knew that had cancer. I showed them the path that I went on, and then they started overcoming it. And it wasn't just that. It was great to help people with their health, but then it was the same things with relationships, the same things with business, and then off we go. This is where we are at today.
Yeah. So who's been kind of a hero for you? Who's been an inspiration?
Yeah, my first mentor was Bob Proctor. He's a transformational coach in the US. He actually passed away early 2022. So I was very close to him for about 18 months, learning from him. Certainly introduced me to the world of business, running a business well, and applying spiritual principles. And then there was a lady that he worked closely with in a few of his programs who, after he passed away, became my mentor, called Mary Morrissey. And they're both absolutely incredible human beings. And I've learned so much from them, and how to be a better person as well, and how to be have more belief in myself. That has allowed me then to be able to help others, which is one of the most rewarding things I've ever done.
So speaking of inspirational people, is there anybody alive on the planet right now you would love to meet and talk to?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I'm big into my sports, so I'd love to meet certain sports people, but I'm actually reading Phil Jackson's book at the moment, the
Yeah.
ex-coach of the Bulls and the Lakers. And I'm intrigued as to how he was able to get people like Michael Jordan, Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe, these strong characters to buy into his philosophy and his principles around spirituality and how you apply it into competitive sport. Because it can be applied into sport, it can be applied into business. And, you know, he was so successful because of that. And these guys bought into it. And that's what elevated them that next level.
So if you could go back in time to any game, any sporting event, what would you love to have seen happen?
Any game? Um, oh, I think it would have to be Michael Jordan's first championship with Phil Jackson as well. That would have to be the moment, and to be able to sit in that room afterwards, and if I could ask them both the question about, what's made the difference right now? What's got you guys to here?
Yeah, I'd love to join you on that. I'd love to see that for
I'd
sure.
love to have you.
So, what is the motivation for you every day? You obviously are helping people. You've overcome cancer. There's a lot of things that go into who you are. But what is that motivation that makes you evolve and be who you are every day?
Yeah, look, I love every day's different. So I get to wake up. I'm working with some great people who are doing some fantastic things in the world, but my number one priority is, to be there with my family, to be a loving and present husband and father. Like I mentioned to you before, I've got three fantastic boys and a very supportive wife. We're a great unit. It wasn't like that always. We have worked on it, and it's one of those things now that every day you wake up, you go, okay, we've already started and we're off on a good foot. And then, work's not work. I'm working with, like I said, some amazing people. So every day we get to help them overcome an obstacle or a challenge, and then we get to celebrate the successes they're having as they do that.
So, what's been one of your best success stories as a coach?
Oh, there's probably one in each area of life. So I'll race through those for you. So the first one, definitely health. I slightly mentioned before, when I was always reluctant to want to help somebody who had cancer, because you know, I didn't want to have the responsibility if things didn't work out. That was me. And some people who'd come to me said, look, I've been told I've got 6 months, that's it. So being able to help those guys and them send me a text message or a message and say, hey, I've just got the all clear.
Yeah.
It's the journey that they went on that's the bit that's inspiring, not just the end result. Same in relationships. And then in business now, I'm working with some business owners that some have inherited businesses, some have been growing a business for 15, 16 years and are just completely stuck, but they've been multi-million-dollar businesses. And then all of a sudden they're coming to me going, I've got this vision now for what I want, and this is happening in the business, but I'm also present for my family. And my wife actually likes me again.
Yeah.
So they're the best. They're the best when you watch them on the journey, not necessarily just their end result.
So let's say you have a dream tonight. You run into the 20-year-old version of you, and you could give that version of you a piece of advice based on the life you've led, the wisdom you've gained. What would you tell your young version?
Um, don't try and rush and get everything done by the time you're 27. Enjoy the process, but start reading. Read from the people who've gone before you, gather their wisdom, look into these spiritual laws and understand them. Start applying them in your life now so that you can see the result of what they have, because they're going to set you off for what you really, really want in life from that point on. And enjoy yourself. Life's for enjoying.
Yeah. So what was the first book you read that really shook you, that really made you think, wow, this is something?
Yeah. Yeah, the first one that had the biggest wow factor for me, and it's actually the book that I gift to everybody now. It's The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. Very, very easy book to read. It really was an eye-opener for me, where I went, okay, I need to really start understanding this now. There's more to it. And it
Yeah.
did. It changed my life.
I'll have to pick that up. You got me hooked. I like it. So of all of the things that you've done and overcome and accomplished in your life, what are you the proudest of?
Definitely how I am as a father and a husband. And again, like I said, it wasn't always something that came straight away. When I was trying to run a business and I was under pressure, and like a lot of parents are, we're trying to make sure we survive and look after our families. Um, I had or interviewed a lot of business owners at the time, and the one common trait that they all kept saying was, I wish I'd spent more time with my family. And they said it too often for me not to pay attention.
Yeah.
So I made sure that I was present when I could. When I finished work, I'd even sit in the car for a minute or two before I went in the home, did a couple of breaths and went, okay, you're stepping in now to be a father and a husband. Let's make sure that you are. And I know that's impacted my kids, because I can see the way they respond. And it's, again, one of the greatest greatest and things that I'm most proud of, definitely.
So everyone has a perception of you out there, family, friends, clients, colleagues, everyone in your life, but you're the one that's in control. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
I think based on, again, what a lot of them say, and it is something that I try to be, I try to be calm. That's my number one thing. So whenever there's some challenges coming up, family, friends, whatever, I like to be that calming presence. Definitely inspirational. I've always wanted to help and inspire others and put others before myself. So I know that a lot of people do come to me for that. And the most thing is integrity. Integrity is important to me and my family and the people that join my world. And I always want them to feel safe and say, hey, he has got my best interests at heart. So
Yeah.
if there's a cocktail of those things, I'm very happy.
Wonderful. Hey, this has been great. Thank you. And before we get out of the door here, how can people reach out? How can people hire you? How can they learn more about you and your story? Where's the best place to go?
Yeah, definitely. The best place just to get a feel for who I am, what I do, is to the website. That's leigwoolard.com, spelled LEIGHWOOLARD.com. And just start diving into some of the videos I've created. There's plenty of ideas there. You don't have to be in business. There's some freebies. I've got a vision workshop coming up, 3 dates. Jump on one of the vision workshops. They'll be there where you can get some clarity on what you want in life. And hopefully I can inspire you, help you, show you some integrity, whatever it may be that you require.
Well, Leigh, it emanates from you, man. This has been great. I can just feel the strength and the good energy. So thank you for your story. Thank you for your time. Best of luck with everything as we move forward.
Joe, thank you for having me on the podcast. All the best to all of your wonderful listeners. Hope you have a great Christmas, great New Year. And thank you once again.
You do the same. Thank you, sir. Take care.
Fantastic.